we're being asked about a lot by our clients is, how do I know if it makes sense for me to buy a building? Especially when they're hearing all of the news in the market about the distressed values, how inexpensive they are. How would a tenant know if there's an opportunity to buy a building?
I think you first got to start with the question of, it goes back to, should I buy or lease? And the decision around buying versus leasing is a very complicated one. It's not across the board the same for every. It's very different for many companies. And traditionally, there's a reason why 95% of companies lease space, right? It's because they want to put their capital in their business, not in real estate, right? But there are situations where if you looked at purchasing versus leasing, your total cost of occupancy, if you will, over a 10-year period is significantly lower in a purchase versus a lease scenario.
How do these opportunities show up? Like, what would make a building all of a sudden be a good option for a tenant to buy?
Yeah. I think that's kind of the hard part, is finding the opportunities. I think that's why our experience in representing a lot of these landlords has been super helpful for tenants. And prior to becoming SWA, I spent 6 years of my career representing these landlords on primarily suburban assets. And that's where a lot of the opportunity is, And so it's really just important to find somebody like us on the brokerage side that knows where the opportunities are and can find it. Most opportunities we found for clients, having even been recently, have not been widely marketed opportunities, because these owners don't want people to know, they don't want the market to know that they're in distress. So it's usually pretty quiet if they are looking to potentially sell their building. And so it's just really important to have the right person that's helping you find those opportunities. We've been able to really do that because we know all the owners in their situation.
Yeah, and an example of that would be just to kind of set the stage of what those opportunities are, right? If you said, where are they? In general, those opportunities are in suburban, call it 50 to 150,000 square foot buildings, right? And these buildings have traditionally traded, kind of in peak prices in the $175 to $275 range. And now those valuations, it's created a very unique situation. Those valuations have dropped all the way down to as low as $50 a square foot, $50 to $100 a square foot. And so when you look at this, a purchase at that value, and you layer in the ownership expense, like operating the building, and then you have a very conservative reversion value. You look at that scenario over a 10-year period versus leasing space in that same building at $25 or $30 a square foot, and you realize, wow, there is a lot of value in this scenario versus leasing. But again, it goes back to, does it make sense for your business? If it does, you can really capitalize on this opportunity.
I think the key for everyone is that tenants would say, well, this sounds really great. I'd love to buy a building that would basically give me free rent for my corporate headquarters. How would I do that? And the answer is, you have to find a team, and you have to have relationships to know the assets that are nearing or approaching that kind of situation where you could buy a cash flowing asset that lowers your risk profile and take advantage of the opportunity in the market.
That's right. Yeah. Not every building that was purchased at $250 a foot is going to sell for $75 a foot. And so those opportunities are few, but they are there. We are seeing them, and we are transacting on some of those now, Greg.
And I think our team does a great job, and we have experience doing it, helping people through the process of, should I lease this headquarters space? Should I buy a building? Should I partner with someone in buying a building? Or maybe potentially, can I command an equity position in a building with my lease?
That's right.
The opportunity is really in the larger buildings that traditionally are multi-tenant buildings, but have become so inexpensive that a single user could buy them for themselves or with cash flowing in place and take advantage of this moment in the market.